I feel like this Saturday was a whirlwind. It's Saturday today, and first off, I fell down the stairs today. It was ridiculous. My butt hurts so bad. I didn't fall like tumbling, but I definitely fell because my mom gave me these loafers, and so they're just slip-ons. And so I blame my mom. Just joking. I don't really blame her. I blame the shoes. They're ridiculous, and apparently they don't have good traction. I was outside last week, just walking around in my yard, and well, I have a little bit of a hill in the backyard, and I was slipping with those shoes down the grassy hill because they were very slippery. And I should have taken that as a sign that they were dangerous shoes. But I don't learn very well sometimes. So anyway, today there was spaghetti for lunch, and my daughter didn't want the spaghetti noodles broken. So she ran away, upset because we were going to break the noodles. So I thought I would try and console her. Even though she's 11, she shouldn't be upset about broken spaghetti noodles. So I went and I was walking down the stairs to go talk to her, and I wasn't really paying attention to where I was stepping. And I think I was holding my phone, so I wasn't doing the best job about paying attention. And well, I think what happened was I stepped on half of a stair, if that makes sense. I stepped on the corner of a stair, and my stairs are carpeted, so my shoe, because they're bad shoes and slippery shoes, I fell. And first I hit the right side of my bottom on the stair, and then I couldn't stop myself, so I kept sliding all the way down the stairs. I feel like it was all slow motion in my mind because I was thinking while sliding, oh no, I can't stop myself. I tried, but I couldn't, so I just had to keep sliding down all 10 stairs. Then I got to the bottom, and then I was in pain. At least I'm only like 34, so it wasn't that much pain. Like if I were really old or something, those poor old people, they get hurt quite a bit more when they get hurt. Or like when they fall down and they break a hip or something. I'm sure glad my bones are still strong. But yeah, so that was at lunchtime. But this morning, we did quite a bit of stuff around the house. I also did some reading practice with my 5-year-old and my 7-year-old because they both need to learn how to read better because it's good for them. And I want to be a good mom and do that for them, help them to learn how to read. So we practiced that, and I helped my 2-year-old learn some colors, hopefully. We still have to learn all those colors. She doesn't know very many colors. She's going to be 3 this week, actually. Yep, it's going to be her birthday. I'm going to make her a cake. And, well, my 11-year-old found the pink cake mix up in the cupboard above the stove. And I was thinking about using that, but she really thinks I was going to use it. Normally, I make cake from scratch. I don't know why I bought the cake mix. I assume it was because it was on sale. And I'm pretty frugal like that, where I like to buy things when they're on sale, even if it's really bad for me. There was some Snickers popcorn last week at the grocery store. I bought it because it was on sale. It was like $2 or something, and normally it's like $4 or $5. So I was willing to spend half price to eat junk food. But then, yeah, we ate it all. Yeah, I thought that I still had that Snickers popcorn in my van because I have to hide it sometimes from my children. And, well, yeah, they found it and we all ate it. So it's gone now. But anyway, back to today, Saturday. I had the kids do some cleanup in the yard because it's October 5th and it's getting colder outside, so I figured we should do some yard work before it gets too cold. Last year, actually, I can't remember when we moved here. It's so weird and bizarre. I'm pretty sure it was last year. Oh, yeah, it must have been in the spring when it was still freezing. I did some yard work when we first moved in. It was like May. I don't know why my brain is not thinking clearly. I feel like it was a really cold day, but I was outside in the yard with my coat on and I was just moving sticks around because in the backyard there's these two big trees and they drop a lot of sticks, and I was moving them and I decided to make a little fort type of a lean-to for my kids so they could hide in it and play, except the past year that we've been here, they have never played in it that I can remember. So I decided to take it down. It looked pretty atrocious. In my mind, I was thinking it could be like on their Little Rascals, there's this fort thing that the kids made, and it's supposed to be only for boys or something. And, well, I thought that was really cool how they built it in the movie. So I wanted to build something like that for my kids, except it was pretty lame. And I feel like they knew that it was lame. So then, today, I took it down and I put it in the other big stick pile because we have a big stick pile in our backyard. It's pretty ridiculous. I was thinking if it ever caught on fire, that'd be a bummer. But at least it's kind of far away from our house. Yeah, anyway, I definitely moved sticks around today. And then my neighbor, he had offered us something. He offered us a pile of sticks, well, a pile of boards. He was going to cut them up for us in like 2-foot sections so that we could burn them in our wood stove. And then I thought those would be great for just letting the kids build stuff outside and it'd be fun. And then I called him and asked if we could just have them before he cut them, and he said sure, that's fine. So we took them all over, and it was about like 24 2x4 boards about 6 feet tall. I think it used to be a fence. That's the only thing that makes sense. Did you like my rhyme there? With the fence and sense? Yep, but then I feel kind of bad because I didn't let the kids design a fort. I did it all by myself. I kind of took over. They weren't that interested in building the fort. We had carried them all over, and they were just sitting in a pile next to where the fort was going to be. And so I took initiative. I really hope to instill initiative in my kids, but we'll see if that actually ever happens. We started a new chore system I'm pretty excited about. Actually, it's not really a chore system. Oh man, let me finish the fort thing first before I get to another subject because I can ramble. Hence the title of this video about rambling. Yeah. So, I put a big 4x4 board in between these two trees that we have in the backyard. They're about 5 feet away from each other. I don't know if somebody intentionally planted them like that, but it worked out for my fort idea. So I put the board in there, and then there was about 15 2x4s that I was able to lean against that board. I don't know if I'm making any sense, but it's a lean-to. That's what it is. So there's those 15 boards leaning up against that one board in between the two trees, and it looks kind of like half of a tent. And so now the kids were actually playing out there this evening in the fort, and it was pretty awesome to see, because they didn't do that with the first fort. It was pretty bad. I think they were afraid of getting poked by sticks. Probably. That's probably why they weren't in there. So the chore thing, I decided that I will have all the kids that are at home every day with me, that they can just get assigned jobs as needed. So if the dishes need done, or the table needs wiped, or the counter, or if the floor needs swept or mopped, that's what we're going to do. I will tell them to do a job, and the expectation is that they do it with a good attitude, and that they do it when I ask them to do it. And hopefully eventually that can actually be fulfilled every single time. Because right now, sometimes they don't want to do what I ask them to do, and that's bad, because I feed them and they have a house to live in, so they should be thankful and grateful, right? And then the other kiddo, who's 16, he gets to choose a job to do every day that's helpful for our household, because otherwise he's just being lazy, and that's bad, to be lazy. And I definitely do more than one job every day. So maybe I should up it to 2. That'd be good, right? Because, when he goes out to his own apartment or something, or gets a roommate, he'll have to do a lot more jobs. So many jobs to do in the world, such as dishes and taking out the trash and wiping the walls and vacuuming the carpet, and lots of jobs need done in the world. It's pretty interesting to think about all the things that we're supposed to teach our children so that they can do everything they need to do when they leave the house. There's so many things, like paying bills and registering their car. Like, I actually didn't know that we were supposed to register our vehicle every single year. So the first year that we were married, we got a ticket because I didn't know that we had to pay for registration. Actually, it might have been the second year, because I was like, I just paid that last year. What do you mean I have to do it again already? I was very ignorant to the rules of how to own a car. I don't know if nobody taught me or if I just didn't listen, because that's a good question. I'm not very good at listening. You can ask my husband, he'll tell you. But, yeah, that's fun. Maybe not. I kind of wonder what else I didn't know before I went out to be on my own. I'm pretty sure I didn't know a lot, and I wish my parents would have taught me more. But again, I don't know if I would have listened. I feel like I was pretty stubborn. It was pretty dumb. I was pretty dumb, because I didn't listen and I didn't know very much. I was really book smart, but not life smart. I got pretty much all straight A's in high school. That was pretty good, because I liked jumping through the hoops to get A's. But I didn't get all A's. I remember I took honors biology, and I didn't like that class because it was hard, and that was ridiculous. So I think I got a B in it. I remember having to give a PowerPoint presentation, and I gave it on multiple sclerosis. It was pretty interesting. My stepdad has multiple sclerosis, and well, there's like no known cause of it, which is kind of crazy. I feel like the main cause is stress. That's what I think. I think stress causes multiple sclerosis. I am not a doctor or a scientist by any means, and I did a lot of internet research when I was in high school, which was over a decade ago. That's crazy. But, yeah, I did that. And then there was honors literature in 10th grade. That was also a not very fun class because it was hard. But I will say I learned how to write a research paper. I wrote my research paper on whether or not I thought that Lake Powell should be drained. And I came to the conclusion that it should not be drained, partly because I loved going to Lake Powell as a child growing up. We would go every summer, and I loved it so much. I loved to climb up this one little cliff thing in the water, and then we'd all jump off of it. It was about 20 to 30 feet high, and it was scary every single time. And then we didn't wear life jackets because we all knew how to swim. I was the baby of the family, and I had 2 older brothers, and it was great. We had lots of fun. But we would also have lots of fun because our cousins would be there. And we had about 5 cousins. It's kind of funny thinking about how many cousins that I had, because my mom had 2 sisters and they all had about 3 kids. Except, so like my mom had 3 kids, and then my aunt had 3 kids, and then my other aunt only had 2 kids. But turns out that she had another kid, but it was, I think, her husband's kid, I guess. I don't know, I don't remember him, because he was older, I guess, and didn't come to any family events. And then there was actually another kid that we found out that my other aunt, who had 3 kids, she actually had 4 kids, and it was with her same husband, but it was when they were in high school. She was like in 10th grade or something, and she got pregnant, and then they gave him up for adoption. And then when I was in high school or so, he had turned 18 and he wanted to meet his birth parents, and turns out that they only lived like 5 to 10 miles away, like all their life, which was crazy, very crazy. And well, I mean, he did well, so that was fun. I don't really know how I got on this side tangent. Oh yeah, I was talking about Lake Powell and how awesome it was, and that was because I had to talk about the research paper in 10th grade, and that was because I had to talk about my grades, but I didn't have to talk about any of that. That was all me sharing way too much information, because I started out talking about this Saturday and how we made a fort outside, and it was a busy day, just running around tidying up the house, but it wasn't that busy. It was kind of weird. For lunch, we made spaghetti. I made the 16-year-old make it because I was like, you need to know how to make spaghetti. And he never made it from scratch before. I don't make the tomato sauce from scratch. I like to use canned, but he had always just used like Prego or Ragu or Prego, whatever those 2 name brands are. I don't know if Great Value has a brand that they call it or whatnot, but I had him cut up the onions, which made him cry a lot, and then I made him put the beef in the pot, and then we added garlic and all the tomato puree and the crushed tomatoes, and I think a can of tomato sauce also. And then we added the salt and pepper and some Italian seasoning and some basil, and then we just simmered it. I asked him if it needed to be thicker because I had a can of tomato paste I was thinking about putting it in, but he thought it was thick enough. And I almost forgot to say, we put in mushrooms, and don't tell, but they were in my fridge and they were looking a little bit slimy. And well, I put them in a colander and I rinsed them off really well, like for a whole minute, 60 seconds under the water, just rinsing them. So that got most of the slimy stuff off. I bought them, I think, last week. So maybe it was a week and 2 days ago. That's probably more accurate. So it's no wonder why they're slimy. Sometimes I have a problem with making my stuff in my fridge go away when it should. Sometimes I let it stay in there for way too long. Maybe one day I'll learn how to be more organized and not do that and not be wasteful with food. I'm not super wasteful with food, I don't feel like, but I know that sometimes I am. And I hate throwing food away, but sometimes it's gotta be done. We have so much food here in America. It's crazy. Anyway, with the spaghetti, I let him do most of the work, and that was good. And then we had to cook the noodles, and that's when my other daughter got upset for us breaking the noodles. It was ridiculous. And then turns out she also doesn't like them when they're overcooked. Who knew that she didn't like mushy, overcooked noodles? Which they're not really mushy, they're just cooked the way they're supposed to be cooked, but she likes them undercooked. But she was calling them overcooked and mushy, but they weren't. Yeah, so then when I have a 5-year-old and 7-year-old daughters, and I don't know what happened, but they were being bad and they were hitting each other like 4 times. And so I made them sit in timeout. So they were sitting by the fireplace, just sitting there in timeout. And I decided they would have to sit there until I was done eating lunch. So they had to wait for lunch to be done cooking and for me to finish eating it, which I ate it really fast, so they didn't have to sit that long by the time lunch was ready. But the 5-year-old, she was crying so much. She was just very tired, I think. And the 7-year-old, she was fine overall. Until she found that she had a sliver of some sort in her foot. And then the tears started coming. And she was like, "It hurts so bad." I'm like, "You didn't notice it 10 minutes ago? It can't hurt that bad." And she was like, "It didn't hurt till I poked it and now it hurts." And I was like, "What in the world? You are such a child." Yeah, so then while that was going on, that's when my 11-year-old was like, she wanted to go get some of the noodles before they kept cooking. And the 16-year-old didn't let her. He was in charge of lunch and he wanted everybody to eat at the same time, I guess. I don't know. I didn't notice that going on with the other crying and screaming going on. And it's kind of funny. I don't know what the 2-year-old was doing during all this time. I think she actually went and sat in timeout with the other 2 because that seemed like a good idea to her, I guess. So then I had to go find the 11-year-old because she went and she hid under the stairs. And so I had to talk to her and be like, "Hey, let's be logical here right now, okay? What's going on? We're having a Saturday. We're making spaghetti. We're going to eat lunch. And then the day is going to keep going on. Everything is perfectly fine. There's no need to be sad," because she was extremely sad and very hurt and very emotional about not getting to eat her undercooked noodles the way she liked them. And so I was kind of bad because the movie Inside Out 2 came out recently, like I think in the past 6 months. And so I told her, "It's okay, you just have anxiety and depression inside your mind, just making you go emotional." And she didn't think that was very funny, but I did. But anyway, we talked it through, and so I told her, "I guess you can come out when you are ready to come out." So I went out and I ate my lunch, and it was yummy, and then I was done, and the others could get up and go do what they wanted to do, which the 5-year-old really wanted spaghetti, and the 7-year-old wanted to go get the splinter out of her foot. And then a little bit later, that's when the 11-year-old came out, and she went and she got her food, and she was still so grumpy about not getting to get the undercooked noodles. And she got her food and she sat down at the table, and then, do you know what she did? She ate like this, covering her eyes, not wanting the 16-year-old to see her. And I was like, for real, you're acting ridiculous. And then I told her that she could call her friend, and then she perked right up. And I was like, that's funny. You're hilarious, perking right up. And then she forgot to call her friend because she wanted to finish eating first. And then it was like an hour or two later, and I don't even think she called her friend today. I think she just completely forgot because she got sidetracked doing other stuff. So when 2 or 3 o'clock rolled around, I knew I needed to put my 2-year-old to bed because she was getting very fussy. And so I put her to bed. And then I was exhausted from working outside and just making spaghetti, I guess. I feel like I did more today, but I don't know what more I did other than doing some school. Oh yeah, I did help the 11-year-old play the dulcimer and tune it because it was really out of tune, and she wants to learn how to play it. So I said, sure, let's do that. And then when she told me that she learned that she's supposed to use a guitar pick, I was like, good job. And so then she was playing it for me, and I was like, oh, that is out of tune. Let's fix that. And she said, I don't know how. And then I said, look up a YouTube video. So then that's what we did. We looked up a YouTube video, and then I tuned it because I took initiative again. And so now it's tuned, and it sounds way better than it did. It was really interesting because there's 4 strings on a dulcimer. It's kind of like a guitar, but not at all. And it has, the one string is supposed to be tuned to a D, and then the middle string, well, one of the middle strings is supposed to be to an A, and then there's 2 strings really close together, and they're both the same note, a D3 or something. So there's like D4 and then A3 and then D3, and that was really interesting. I did not know that they put numbers behind the notes in order to tune things, but now I do. And it was interesting to have a low D and then the A and then the 2 high Ds. Heidi's, that's funny. I have a friend named Heidi. Besides that, so we did that, and we didn't really do that much. And then we ate lunch and then put the 2-year-old to bed, and then I had to make dinner because my husband actually had to work today. It's the middle of corn harvest, and it is crazy during corn harvest. So he was gone all day Saturday, which was today. And, well, I knew that he would want dinner when he got home, so I decided to make lasagna, except I only had 5 lasagna noodles. So guess what I did? I took the zucchini that I grew and I cut it up into 1/4-inch slices lengthwise. So there were 3 zucchini noodles along with the 5 lasagna noodles, and it worked out pretty good. Pretty proud of myself there. So we had a yummy lasagna with zucchini in it, which nobody complained about. There might have been one that complained about the zucchini noodles, but nobody else did, so that was good. And then we ate them, and it was great. And then I did all the dishes because nobody else does anything, it seems like. And, well, no, I didn't assign any chores after dinners, but my 5-year-old said, Mommy, I'll help you do the dishes. So I said, that's so sweet of you. Thank you. So we did dishes, except she left in the middle because she wanted to go check on something. She said she'd come back, but then she didn't come back. That little funny girl. Anyway, that's pretty much the day, and it was a good day overall. Yeah. I hope you have a good day, and I hope you sleep well. And yeah. All right. Well, good night. Bye.